Thank you so much. Yes, so before we start the reading, I would like to revise what we read in chapter 15. So Jagannath Gopal Prabhu led chapter 15, third canto, in two parts. So we saw that the Devtas approached Brahmana and they were confused, like what is this darkness engulfing the entire universe? And they glorified Lord Brahma with sweet words before asking him the question, and then they asked the question. And as a response, Lord Brahma started explaining them about the four Kumaras' visit to the Vaikuṇṭha Lok. And then over there, he was explaining the beauty of Vaikuṇṭha. He was explaining about the men in Vaikuṇṭha planet, the women in Vaikuṇṭha planet, Lord's beauty, the forests, different birds, plants, airplanes, Lakshmis, etc. And then he also talked about who can and cannot enter the Vaikuntha planet. Then he got into the real story and he said that the four Kumaras were stopped by the two doormen of Vaikuntha planet, and they got really angry with the four Kumaras got really angry with the doorkeepers of Vaikuntha planet. Their name were Jaya and Vijaya, and because of their anger, they cursed Jay and Vijay, right? So after their curse, the doorkeepers immediately they felt that they have done something really bad, and they pleaded forgiveness to the four Kumaras, and they requested four Kumaras that, okay, we are okay if you are cursing us, but please don't give us forgetfulness of the Lord, right? And then the Lord Himself comes to give them the darshan. And here the beauty of Lord is described about the tulsi garland, about the sweet fragrance, and just by the fragrance of the tulsi garland, the four Kumaras who were Brahman realized till now they became devotees. And then upon seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the last four verses of chapter 15, the four Kumaras glorified Him, and they glorify the Lord, and they also say that the devotees of the Lord, they do not consider liberation as your real mercy. So that was the gist of chapter 15. Now we can move into the reading of chapter 16. I present my screen. So we have around 37 verses. So maybe 10, 10, 7, 10, 10, 10, 7. So four people. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, now it is, Prabhu.
So yeah, yeah. So I just see one hand. So Nupur Mataji can start.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Lord Brahma said, after thus congratulating the sages for their nice words, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose abode is in the kingdom of God, spoke as follows. The Personality of Godhead said, these attendants of mine, Jaya and Vijaya by name, have committed a great offense against you because of ignoring me. O great sages, I approve of the punishment that you who are devoted to me have meted out to them. To me, the Brahmana is the highest and most beloved personality. The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen. A wrong act committed by a servant leads people in general to blame his master, just as a spot of white leprosy on any part of the body pollutes all of the skin. Anyone in this entire world, even down to the Chandala, who lives by cooking and eating the flesh of the dog, is immediately purified if he takes bath in hearing through the ear the glorification of my name, fame, etc. Now you have realized me without doubt. Therefore, I'll not hesitate to loop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. The Lord continued. Because I am the servitor of my devotees, my lotus feet have become so sacred that they immediately wipe out all sin. And I have acquired such a disposition that goddess of fortune does not leave me, even though I have no attachment for her. While others praise her beauty and observe sacred vows to secure from her even a slight favor. I do not enjoy the oblations offered by the sacrificers in the sacrificial fire, which is one of my own mouths, with the same relish as I do the delicacies overflowing with ghee, which are offered to the mouths of the Brahmanas, who have dedicated to me the results of their activities and who are ever satisfied with my prasad. I am the master of my unobstructed internal energy, and the water of the Ganges is the remnant left after my feet are washed. That water sanctifies the three worlds, along with Lord Shiva, who bears it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of the Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? The Brahmanas, the cows, and the defenseless creatures are my own body. Those whose faculty of judgment has been impaired by their own sin look upon these as distinct from me. They are just like furious serpents, and they are angrily torn apart by the bills of the vulture like messengers of Yamaraj, the superintendent of sinful persons. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Nupur Mataji. Yes, Megha Mataji can continue. Next 10 verses, 11 to 20.
On the other hand, they captivate my heart, who are gladdened in heart, and who, their lotus faces enlightened by the nectarine smiles, respect the Brahmanas, even though the Brahmanas utter harsh words. They look upon the Brahmanas as my own self and pacify them by praising them in loving words, even as a son would appease an angry father, or as I am pacifying you. These servants of mine have transgressed against you, not knowing the mind of their master. I shall therefore deem it a favor done to me, if you order that, although reaping the fruit of their transgression, they may return to my presence soon, and the time of their exile from my abode may expire before long. Brahma continued, even though the sages had been bitten by the serpent of anger, their souls were not satiated with hearing the Lord's lovely and illuminating speech, which was like a series of Vedic hymns. The Lord's excellent speech was difficult to comprehend because of its momentous import and its most profound significance. The sages heard it with wide open ears and pondered it as well. But although hearing, they could not understand what he intended to do. The four Brahmana sages were nevertheless extremely delighted to behold him, and they experienced a thrill throughout their bodies. They then spoke as follows to the Lord who had revealed the multi glories of the Supreme Personality through his internal potency, Yogamaya. The sages said, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, we are unable to know what you intend for us to do, for even though you are the supreme ruler of all, you speak in our favor as if we had done something good for you. O Lord, you are the supreme director of the Brahmanical culture. Your considering the Brahmanas to be in the highest position is your example for teaching others. Actually, you are the supreme worshipable deity, not only for the gods, but for the Brahmanas also. You are the source of eternal occupation of all living entities, and by your multi manifestations of personalities of Godhead, you have always protected religion. You are the supreme objective of religious principles, and in your opinion, you are inexhaustible and unchangeable eternally. Mystics and transcendentalists, by the mercy of the Lord, cross beyond nescience by seizing all material desires. It is not possible, therefore, that the Supreme Lord can be favored by others. The goddess of fortune Lakshmi, the dust of whose feet is worn on the head by others, waits upon you as appointed, for she is anxious to secure a place in the abode of the king of bees. who hovers on the fresh wreath of tulsi leaves offered at your feet by some blessed devotee.
Thank you, Megha Mataji. Yes, Manjari, talking Mataji. You can read next.
Yes, Rosie. O Lord, you are exceedingly attached to the activities of your pure devotees, yet you are never attached to the goddesses of fortune who constantly engage in your transcendental loving service. How can you be purified, therefore, by the dust of the path traversed by the Brahmanas? And how can you be glorified, made fortunate by the marks of Shrivats on your chest? O Lord, you are the personification of all religion. Therefore, you manifest yourself in 3 millenniums, and thus you protect this universe, which consists of animate and inanimate beings. By your grace, which is of pure goodness and is the bestower of all blessings, kindly drive away the elements of rajas and tamas for the sake of the demigods and twice born. O Lord, you are the protector of the highest of the twice born. If you do not protect them by offering worship and mild words, then certainly the auspicious path of worship will be rejected by people in general who act on the strength and authority of your lordship. Dear Lord, you never want the auspicious path to be destroyed, for you are the reservoir of all goodness. Just to benefit people in general, you destroy the evil element by your mighty potency. You are the proprietor of the 3 creations and the maintainer of the entire universe. Therefore, your potency is not reduced by your submissive behavior. Rather, by submission, you exhibit your transcendental pastimes. O Lord, whatever punishment you wish to award to these 2 innocent persons, or also to us, we shall accept without duplicity. We understand that we have cursed 2 faultless persons. The Lord replied, O Brahmanas, know that the punishment you inflicted on them was originally ordained by me, and therefore they will fall to a birth in a demoniac family. But they will be firmly united with me in thought through mental concentration intensified by anger, and they will return to my presence shortly. Lord Brahma said, after seeing the Lord of Vaikuṇṭha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the self illuminated Vaikuṇṭha planet, the sages left that transcendental abode. The sages circumambulated the Supreme Lord, offered their obeisances, and returned, extremely delighted at learning of the divine opulences of the Vaishnava. The Lord then said to his attendants, Jaya and Vijay, depart this place, but not fear. All glories unto you. Though I am capable of nullifying the Brahmana's curse, I would not do so. On the contrary, it has my approval. This departure from Vaikuntha was foretold by Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She was very angry because when she left my abode and then returned, you stopped her at the gate while I was sleeping.
Thank you, Manjari Gopi Mataji. Yeah, Diya Mataji, you can read, please.
The Lord assured the 2 Vaikuṇṭha inhabitants, Jaya and Vijaya, by practicing the mystic yoga system in anger. You will be cleansed of the sin of disobeying the Brahmanas, and within a very short time return to me. After thus speaking, at the door of Vaikuṇṭha, the Lord returned to his abode, where there are many celestial airplanes, and all surpassing wealth and splendor. But those 2 gatekeepers, the best of the demigods, their beauty and luster diminished by the curse of the Brahmanas, became morose and fell from Vaikuṇṭha, the abode of the Supreme Lord. Then, as Jaya and Vijaya fell from the Lord's abode, a great roar of disappointment arose from all the demigods who were sitting in their splendid airplane. Lord Brahma continued, those two principal doorkeepers of the personality of Godhead have now entered the womb of Vijaya. The powerful semen of Kashyapa Muni has having covered them. It is the prowess of these twin asuras, demons, that has disturbed you, for it has minimized your power. There is no remedy within my power, however, for it is the Lord Himself who desires to do all this. My dear son, the Lord is the controller of the three modes of nature and is responsible for the creation, preservation, and dissolution of the universe. His wonderful creative power, Yog Maya, cannot be easily understood even by the masters of yoga. The most ancient person, the personality of Godhead, will alone come to our rescue. What purpose can we serve on his behalf by deliberating on the subject?
Thank you so much, Diya Mataji, and all the readers for reading the chapter. So we'll start with the prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So I believe my screen is visible, right? So I just present to view with. Is the PPT visible?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So before I begin this chapter, my discussion, an honest confession that I the only reason I'm giving this class is that Jagannath Gopal Prabhu very lovingly asked me if I'm available to give the class, and this is the only way I can do some Shravanam and Kirtanam. So I accepted the opportunity, but unfortunately, I couldn't give it enough time as I would like to prepare and give the class. So I just went through the purports and I just went through the translations and through the purports and translation I found there is few themes which I wanted to talk about, and I am sure that all the devotees on the call have much more realizations and understanding about bhakti than me. So if you feel that this was not relevant, so please be merciful as all the devotees are, and don't be disappointed, but I'll try my best. So, in this chapter, chapter 16, the two doorkeepers of Vaikuṇṭha, Jaya and Vijay. So, till now, we saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead came to the door of Vaikuṇṭha Lok, and he met the four Kumaras. And the four Kumaras, looking at the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they said that, yeah, this is the form of the Lord which our Father has told about to us when we were, with him. And definitely the supreme, like, they became the devotee of the Lord just by the fragrance of the tulsi flowers which the Lord wore. And uh, and um, you know and and then, yeah, in this chapter, it starts with Lord speaking about the glories of Brahmanas. But before that, I wanted to ask one question. Like, in purports, Prabhupada explained two reasons why why the Supreme Personality of Godhead came to the gates of Vaikuntha Loka. So, any guesses, or any idea why did the Lord appear at the gate of the Vaikuntha Loka?
I know the answer from the previous chapter, but I'll not say.
Okay, maybe you can after
After
love devotees.
devotees. Okay, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so I
so I
believe
believe
if we
if we
consider it
consider
from
it
the
from the
perspective of
perspective of
the
the
Lord
Lord,
being the king of Vaikuntha, and a king coming at the gate just to resolve a conflict between the doormen and the visitors is very rarely seen in this material world or in any other scripture also. So it's not a actually befitting of the Supreme Personality of Godhead for a person of his stature to resolve such a small issue. So why do you think uh, the Lord came to the gates, and what learning are we getting out of it?
so in the one of the purports in the last chapter, Prabhupada writes that the Lord instantly came because he was afraid that this whole cursing thing that is going on, that will vanquish Jaya Vijay for good. So out of love and for to protect them, he came out.
Very
Very
nice,
nice,
Prabhu.
Prabhu.
S-
S-
I can
I
hear
can.
my echo. I think
Yeah, there is some echo on your end, Prabhu.
on my
On my
end.
end? Yeah, can you? Oh, wait, maybe it's on my end. Sorry, it is on my end. Yeah, now it's better.
Hari bol. Yeah, perfect,
Yeah,
Prabhu. I
yeah,
can hear.
I put the live music wala setting on. But anyway, yeah, so did you get what I said? Basically, Prabhupada.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, Prabhu. So just to repeat what Jagannath Gopal Prabhu said is that the Lord came to the gates of Vaikuntha out of affection for Jay and Vijay, because he didn't want the conflict to go to an extent where Jay and Vijay would be cursed so severely that they'll, never be able to reunite with the Lord. Am I right, Prabhuji?
Correct, correct, Prabhu. Yeah.
Yes. So here in this chapter, Prabhupada gave two more reasons. So the first reason which Prabhupada highlighted is that whenever there is an offense committed by one devotee towards the other, that is solely because of the ignorance of the Lord. So when we forget about the qualities of the Lord, when we forget about the relationship, our relationship with the God, and the other person's or devotee's relationship with the God, we commit offense. And so the Supreme Personality of Godhead immediately wanted to come to the gate because he was seeing that both the parties were committing offense to each other, and he immediately wanted to be present in the situation, so that both the parties become cognizant and become aware about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which will, avoid them from making further offenses and get into the mood of humility. For example, as soon as the Supreme Personality of Godhead uh, was visible to the four Kumaras, they immediately fell, awestruck, and they immediately started worshipping the Lord. And they were in a mood that they went to the extent of saying that, "Oh Lord, we don't know if what we did is right or not. But if you please, if it pleases you, please punish us." Yeah. So we can see the heart transformation from offensive mentality to a humble disposition, which the four Kumaras experienced just by taking the darshan of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So for me, one learning from here, from this episode, was that whenever I have, you know, the instances of pride, envy, or dissatisfaction, fear. So immediately, you know, I made a promise to myself that at least for Kartik month, I'll make myself aware about the Supreme Personality of Godhead through talking to devotees, because that's the easiest way. You just sit with devotee and start talking about Krishna, or you can just read a bhajan, any bhajan, and you immediately get that consciousness of Krishna, and then immediately you're pulled out of that offensive mentality towards yourself or the other. And and the second reason, anyone have some thoughts on this, or I can go to the second reason. Okay. So the second reason which was mentioned is that in bhakti, to take the darshan of the Lord or to be in the association of the Lord, there is no impediment for the devotee. Right? So here Prabhupada gave the example of Srila Haridas Thakur. So Srila Haridas Thakur was a Muslim by birth, and he was not allowed in the Jagannath Puri temple to take the darshan of the Lord. So he stayed outside of the Jagannath Puri temple, and he was receiving whatever remnants he was getting from the Mahaprasadam or by the other devotees. So, but unfortunately, he was never allowed within the Jagannath Puri temple. However, seeing this condition and seeing how devoted Srila Haridas Thakur was, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to go to his kutia every night to be with him. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from uh, Jagannath. So that's how we can see that the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not, there is no impediment actually which is stopping a devotee from connecting or uniting with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the second example what I have here is the Jagannath Rath Yatra. So many devotees, especially in ISKCON, the great sannyasis. So I remember a few days back, I was telling my mother-in-law about the Jagannath Rath Yatra, and Vrinda spoke up, and she said that she feels uh, very not worthy to enter the Jagannath Puri temple. Why? Because the great devotees like our Guru Maharajas or other Western devotees are not allowed within the Jagannath Puri temple. But that's not stopping them from taking darshan of Jagannath. Jagannath himself comes out every year in Jagannath Rath Yatra, and he himself came to the devotees in the West. In San Francisco, when Prabhupada saw those small Jagannath deities brought by I believe Malti Mataji, uh, from a you know wholesale trade shop. I'm not sure about the shop, but yeah. So Jagannath himself comes to give darshan to the aspiring devotees. Similarly, here the four Kumaras were stopped by the doorkeepers, but the Lord wanted to show His compassion towards the four Kumaras, and that's why He came out on the gate to give them darshan. Okay. Any thoughts? Anybody can proceed.
So this second point, there is no impediment for devotees. That is a reason why the Lord came.
Yes, Prabhuji. So how it is a reason is that the four Kumaras were not allowed inside. Even after Jay Vijay being cursed, they were not allowing them to go inside. They said that, okay, you've cursed us. but
Hmm.
don't separate us out from the Lord. And four Kumaras, because they were so furious, and so there was a high chance. Like, this is all my speculation, but there was a high chance that they would have returned from the door itself, right? But
Hmm.
their desire to take Lord's darshan, the that made Lord to come at the door to
Got
greet
it.
them.
Got it, Prabhu. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Yep.
Okay. So now, this was the reason why Lord came to the door. Now, there is throughout this section, throughout this chapter, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is talking great things about Brahmana, right? He says that, if some of his servants are disrespecting Brahmanas, or if one of his arm is disrespecting Brahmana, he is okay to cut that arm off. And he says that, I wear the dust of Brahmanas on my forehead. And he says that, I am opulent, and Lakshmi is with me because I serve the lotus feet of the Brahmanas. So all those big uh, revelations, what Lord is saying in this chapter. So immediately the question naturally comes to our mind: who is a Brahmana, or who are the Brahmanas glorified by the Lord? Are those the Brahmanas who we know? Because I think most of us are from India. So in India, the Brahmanas who conduct marriages, who conduct, the worships. So who are actually these Brahmanas? That is a question which came to my mind. Any idea?
We discussed this yesterday, so again, I don't want to speak here. Yeah.
I see Manan Prabhu not on mute. Maybe he has something.
I was thinking it's all the Brahmanas. Anybody who is a Brahmana by qualification is very dear to the Lord.
Yes, Prabhu. By qualification is the key word. Yeah. Would you like to expand? So, like, yesterday, Jagannath Prabhu and I were discussing. So, there are two types of Brahmanas. One is the Brahmana who were born in the Brahminical family, but they are not actually practicing the Brahminical culture. And the other are the people who are not Brahmanas, but they get to the standard of purity, like by practicing Bhakti Yoga, and they get second initiation in ISKCON. So are those the Brahmanas? Therefore.
So those who are born in the Brahminical family but are not on mode of goodness, are not following Brahminical principles, I think they are called Brahma Bandhus. They are relatives of Brahmanas, but they're not called Brahmanas. Brahma Janati Brahmana, one who knows Brahman and is pursuing a life of uh, inquiry and realization of Brahman.
Right.
He's a Brahman.
Perfect, Prabhu. Yeah, you hit the point right at the head. So the first one is the pranati. One of the pranati for Lord Krishna is, Namo Brahmanaya Devaya, Go Brahmanaya Hitaya Cha, Jagaditaya, Krishna Govindaya Namo Nama. So it is said that he is the well-wisher of the Brahmanas. But who are the Brahmanas? Manan Prabhu absolutely uh, very correctly quoted this: Brahma Janatiti Brahmana. So anyone who's aware about Brahman, or who is Brahman realized, is a Brahmana. And therefore, the caste Brahmanas are known as Brahman Bandhus, Dvija Bandhus, because they are Brahmanas just by birth, but they are not following the purificatory process, or they are not following the regulations laid down. Like, for example, I had a Brahman friend uh, who was uh, who was studying with me at NYU, and I called him once to the temple, and he met the devotee over there, and he was very proudly he was saying that, I am a Brahmana, and see, this is my uh, Janeyu. And he was showing his Janeyu, and he said that, I got this Janeyu when I was 6 years old. And then the devotee was very happy and he said, "Oh, very nice, very nice. So, uh, like, are you practicing something?" He said that, "Yeah, I do practice. I do listen to Hanuman Chalisa in the morning and everything." So everybody was very appreciative. And the next day, I went out with my same friend and he ordered beef. And I was like shocked. I said, like, "You're a Brahmana." But I didn't, like, encounter, or I didn't give him a lecture on Brahminical culture. But that shows the loss of Brahminical standard in the society right now. And there are very few Brahmanas who are actually Brahman realized. So going forward on this, Prabhupada actually says, and this is a very common notion, that Vaishnavas are at a higher position than Brahmanas. And we all, because we are practicing devotees, and we all consider sometimes ourselves as Vaishnavas. So it's a pleasure to hear that statement that you Vaishnavas are higher than Brahmanas. But what is the praman for that statement? Prabhupada gives the praman in one of the purports. But you can, if you have any other praman, Sanskrit quotation, or just an idea, why do you feel that Vaishnavas are greater than Brahmanas?
Give clues, give clues.
I'll let you give clues, Prabhu. The
Uh,
good thing is I discussed with you, so you know the play.
so okay, one clue is that uh, realization of God is not a static thing. That is the clue. So now, if devotees can guess.
Could you repeat, Prabhuji, what you just said? I missed it.
So realization of God is not a static thing. God can be realized
Mm.
not in just one way. So that is the clue.
Prabhuji, I don't know the answer to the clue, but I'll give what I heard in Abhay Charan, like yesterday. As soon as Prabhuji asked, I went to YouTube and started searching for it because I watched it yesterday only. So there they show that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada, he says that Vaishnavas are superior because not he didn't use the term superior. So he said Vaishnavas are higher because they are free, because they have surrendered to Lord Vishnu and they are liberated from birth and death. Like they're not looking for uh, the menial things or any material things they are looking for. He glorifies Brahmanas a lot. Like he mentioned that it was due to Brahmanas' curse that the ocean water became salty, and that's why we cannot drink it. But then he presents all this like main thing, like how the Vaishnavas are surrendered to Lord Vishnu and we are released from the bondage of material nature. Sorry for
Perfect.
blabbering.
Thank you, Ma. That makes sense. Yeah. Manan Prabhu, you have some point?
So going by Jagannath Prabhu's clue, I'm thinking of Vadantita Tattvamidas, that Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan are non-different. So one who knows Bhagwan also knows Brahman. Maybe that's why Vaishnavas have a more complete understanding of Brahman.
Yes, and I believe Soham Prabhu also said something similar in the chat. So I'll just read it out. By definition, Brahmanas are the one who have Brahman realization, but Vaishnavas have Bhagavan realization. Okay. And then Lekha Mataji said, Vaishnavas are considered merciful than Lord. No one is typically greater than Lord. So by logic, Vaishnavas are greater than Brahmanas. Wow, amazing. What a logic. Yeah. Uh, so I think because we know the answer, so we can always backtrack the solution towards the answer. And I feel all the answers are correct. However, Prabhupada specifically details out the point which Manan Prabhu and Soham Prabhu spoke. So he said that Brahma Janatiti Brahmana. So one who is Brahman realized is a Brahmana, but Vaishnavas are God realized, the Supreme Personality. They have realized the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Brahman, because that's the effulgence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So because you have realized the God Himself, so you have already realized the Brahman, the effulgence of the God. Therefore, Vaishnavas have a higher understanding, and even they are at a higher position than Brahmanas. And to after giving that explanation, Prabhupada says in the purport that so I've quoted Prabhupada's statement. So it should be noted that the glories of Brahmana described in this chapter by the Lord Himself refer to His devotee Brahmana or the Vaishnavas. So basically, indirectly, Prabhupada is saying that wherever you are reading the word devotee, oh sorry, Brahmana in this chapter, just replace it with Vaishnava because that's what Lord is referring to. And we see this actually in the behavior of the great souls. And Advaita Prabhu himself, you know, himself showed how Vaishnavas are even greater than Brahmanas. So again, Haridas Thakur was there in the same town where Advaita Acharya Prabhu was living, and he was the leader of the society, Advaita Prabhu, and he was very scholarly, and he used to do a lot of yagyas, and everybody, all the Brahmanas would dream of being part of his yagya, and they were waiting that once Dvaita Prabhu is done offering the bhoga to the Lord, then they will be the first Brahman to eat. But Advaita Prabhu took always, like he took the plate to Srila Haridas Thakur and he fed Srila Haridas Thakur, and Srila Haridas Thakur was very confused. He said that the first offering is supposed to be to the Brahmanas and I am a Muslim. So why are you committing this offense? So Advaita Acharya Prabhu said that actually feeding you is like feeding 100,000 Brahmanas. So therefore, please accept this offering. And he accepted, Srila Haridas Thakur accepted the offering, and that pacified Advaita Prabhu um, and made his yagya successful. So therefore, it is said that Vaishnavas who are very dear to Lord. Why? Because they are in loving devotional service to the Lord. So if we offer respect, if we offer food items to the Vaishnavas, then the Lord Himself gets satisfied. Okay. So that's the definition of who the Brahmana are who are referred in this context. So now we'll see how the Lord behaves with His devotees, with His devotees. Yeah. So here we saw that the Lord is speaking so much. Um, so he's speaking so many words with out of love towards brahmanas, towards his devotees, and he's saying that like the essence of the entire speech that Lord gave to the four kumaras, telling them about what he really what his devotee really mean to him, is in the mood of servant of the servant. And when we talk about servant of the servant, so very recently, I suppose everybody of you must have seen the movie Mahavatar Narsimha. So I have a clip of that for you. Maybe we can watch. It's just 3 minutes, but it's nice. Let me know if audio is
We can't hear, Prabhu. We can't hear the audio.
okay. Stop share.
Yeah, you might have to share with audio.
The worlds along with Lord Shiva, who bear it on his head. If I can take the dust of the feet of Vaishnava on my head, who will refuse to do the same? And the third is the ultimate mercy of Vaishnava. So he says, they captivate my heart who are gladdened in heart and who their lotus face enlightened by nectarine smiles respect the Brahmanas even though the Brahmanas uttered harsh words. So the ultimate mercy. So, especially in devotee circle, the relationships can be very tricky. Sometimes the superiors, they are very furious on some mistakes that we've committed. Even though bhakti is a voluntary thing and we go as a volunteer, but the standards are required. And when we do not meet the standards, the devotees definitely, they purify us. And we say purification, but it's like, do we really feel that it is a purification, not just chastisement? And there are several examples in the Shastras where the Brahmanas have purified the souls, the jivas, by cursing them. Any idea what those examples can be?
Can you repeat that, Prabhu?
So in Shastras, there are so many examples of Brahmanas purifying the jivas, the souls, by cursing them.
Brahmanas purifying the jivas by cursing them. Yeah, Nalakuera Manigriva.
Yes, Prabhu. The celebrity of the month.
Yeah, I mean, Lekha
Anything?
Mataji said that there is.
Okay. Any other?
This also, na, purified them. Mm, I don't know if we can say, like in the 11th canto, when Narad Muni and the different sages, they cursed the Yadu dynasty to end. Yeah, that is not purification, that's like total dissolution only. Yeah.
Yes. There are some messages. Okay. Nalkuvera cursed by Narni. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the perfect example Prabhu I had in my mind, that Nalkuvera and Manigriva, they were acting in a very uh, shameless way in front of the great saint Narad Muni, and having mercy on them. Narad Muni cursed both the brothers to take birth as tree, but then he was merciful enough to uh, you know, grant them a visa to Pulab Dham because they were there and they were witnessing all the childhood pastimes of Krishna, and how great fortune it is to first-hand witness of all those pastimes, right? And then in 24th verse, Kumara says that your submissiveness increase your glory, right? Your submissiveness toward your devotees actually increase your glories. Any idea or any leela or relationship where Krishna is acting as a submissive person in the relationship, and yet he is glorified for that relationship? There's a message.
Hmm.
Okay, Parikshit Maharaj was already pure, right?
This Parikshit Maharaj wala thing is in relation to the previous question that you asked.
Okay, okay. Parthasarthi, being the charioteer and the peace messenger, is considered lowly. Yeah, definitely. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead took the position of a chariot driver. Yashoda and rope pastime, amazing. Yeah, interestingly, in the chariot example, recently I was reading this article and they were explaining how difficult a job of charioteer was. And I always thought it's like a chauffeur, you just tell them, okay, take right, take left, or take me to this place, and then they take you wherever they want. But in the battle, because there's a lot of noise, so Arjuna actually has to hit Krishna at the back. So if he wants Krishna to take the chariot to the left, he has to hit Krishna on the left side of the shoulder with his leg, uh, as hard as possible, so that Krishna understands, okay, left, I have to go left. and then for right he has to hit on the right side, and that's such a humiliating thing, if somebody doesn't even speak politely, we take offense. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead was taking kicks, being submissive chariot driver of his dear devotee, and that's a great example. Right. And any example, actually, yeah, Mother Yashoda example is also beautiful. So Krishna allowed himself to be bound by the ropes, and that figure of or that pastime is worshipped by so many devotees throughout the entire month and beyond, showing that the submissiveness of Krishna is actually his glory. Right. Perfect. And I have this picture of Lord Vithala on the right side, sorry, left side, and the reason for that is in the verse. So one of the verse, Lord says in verse number 9, if you can read, it says that I can take the dust of the feet of Vaishnavas on my head, then who will refuse to do the same? And we might think that the Lord is just trying to pacify four Kumaras, and he really doesn't mean that he's taking the dust of his devotees on his head. But actually, Lord Vitthal Dev, if you see the tilak of Vithoba over there, the black dot, there's a story behind the black dot, and I am sure like many devotees might already know this, but I was sitting with this Maharashtrian devotee, and he told me that Lord Vittal is so merciful, so submissive in nature, being servant of the servant of the servant, is that one day he saw that so many people are lining up to take his darshan. Like thousand and thousand people, thousand of devotees were lining outside his temple to take his darshan. But because the space is very small, so they have to wait the entire day to take his darshan. And the heat is like a problem in Maharashtra. So they were standing in that sun's heat, just waiting for them, for the management to allow them inside and let them take darshan of the Lord. So that melted Supreme Personality of Godhead's heart. And what he said directed the pujari of the dham. He said that collect all the dust collect all the dust which is accumulated in the courtyard where his devotees were standing, and mix the Chandrabhaga Nadi's water to that dust, prepare a tilak and put it on his forehead. So the black dot is the dust of the Lord, sorry, dust of the devotees of the Lord, uh, and which he wears with pride every day. So that's an interesting story which I wanted to share with you all. Right. So now a quick recap. So what we discussed about is who the devotee is. Sorry, who the Brahmana referred here is. Actually, it's the devotee of the Lord. And then how the Supreme Personality of Godhead um, treat his devotees. He treats them at a very high pedestal, and he says that he's a servant of his devotees. Right. So now, naturally, this question comes to our mind that who is a devotee? you know Now we also, because we love Krishna and Krishna is loving all the devotees, then we also want to love all the devotees. Then who is the devotee and who's not a devotee? Any clues?
One who chants the holy names of the Lord is a devotee. I'm just taking this from the CC pastime.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, perfect, thank you. Any other ideas? So when we say a devotee is one who is favorably inclined towards the Lord, or who is on the path of purification. So there are many paths of purification. So someone who's reading all the self-help books, and he understand that there is a superior power in the universe. Is he also a devotee? Okay, I believe like I have very less time left and few more slides to show. So I'll move ahead and I'll show you this clip which I saw few years back. It's by His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, and the title of the video is The Definition of a Devotee. We'll just listen to a clip of like a snip of that entire lecture. Um, but it's the CC pastime which Jagannath Gopal Prabhu was mentioning. Okay, what happened?
Higher cause. So they asked a question. How do we know who's a real?
This question is asked by a group of devotees who make silk ropes for Jagannath Rath cart. So they live in a village known as Kulina Gram, and they visited Jagannath Puri during Rath Yatra, and they are asking question to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Vaishnava. And Lord Chaitanya said, anyone who even once chants the holy name of the Lord sincerely is a Vaishnava, a devotee. So they went home. They took that instruction very deeply. Then they came back the next year and they asked Lord Chaitanya a question. They said, we are householders, so busy with our family lives. How could we become Krishna conscious? And Lord Chaitanya said, you should chant the holy names of the Lord and serve the Vaishnavas. And they asked, how do we know who a Vaishnava is? And Lord Chaitanya said, one who is constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord is a Vaishnava. So they took that to heart and they went home. The next year, they came back. They said, how do we as fallen householders become Krishna conscious? How do we love Krishna? And he said, you should chant the holy names and serve the Vaishnavas. And they asked, how do we know who's a Vaishnava? And Lord Chaitanya said, anyone who, even upon seeing the people who see them, will start to chant the holy names, that is a Vaishnava. So in other words, there's different levels of devotee.
So, for the interest of time, I'll cut it short. But in just Maharaj says that there are different levels of the devotee, and in Srimad Bhagavatam also he says that bhakti is performed in different modes: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness, and then in mode of transcendence. Right? And he says that we should aspire, like anyone who's a good devotee is one who's trying to purify himself and raise his level to the next level by his sincere efforts, right? So that's for us to apply. But when we look at the other person from the perspective of, you know sorry to say this, but judging that, is he a devotee, should I respect him, or is he a devotee, is but he's not chanting, he's only chanting 4 rounds, he's only chanting 16 rounds. So I think in that case, Shikshashtakam says, Amanina Manadena, Kirtanya Sadahari. So our purpose is to chant continuously. And that can only happen when we are giving respect to all. Right? So anyone, even if he's chanting like 1 round, or he's chanting one Mahamantra, or he's just coming and bowing in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they all are devotee and they demand respect. Why they demand respect, and why they demand respect is because of this. I'll come to this question later, but because of this. So this brings us a great responsibility for us, because we are practicing devotees, and people of the world, they associate us with Krishna, even if we don't consider ourselves devotee, but they do consider us related to Krishna. So we have a big brand to, you know, a big brand attached to us. So, for example, I was in Gujarat. My Vrinda's mom, she's from Swaminarayan Sampradaya, and I went to Gujarat for the first time after marriage, and I was having my bead bag, and I was wearing dhoti, and I was wearing my tilak, and I went in their Mangal Aarti. So as soon as I walked in their temple, all the people, they knew that I was related to Vrinda's family. So they immediately went to my mother-in-law and they asked, "Ki your Jamai, he knows how to wear dhoti and he is living in America." Yeah, these ISKCON people are very, pakka, and they are very proud of their culture and heritage. I hope our kids also, showcase their culture so proudly. So that was something I did not plan for, and I did not even, had that thing in my mind that I'll be related to Hare Krishnas, or I'll be related to ISKCON, or I'll be related to Krishna, just by the external attire. But yet they did, and this was a good experience. But the same can be experienced in a negative way also. When we act in a very rash way and we are wearing kantimala, when we act in a very disrespectful way and we have tilak on our forehead, immediately they'll say that what kind of process is it, which is not even purifying the heart of the person. Right? So this brings to the point of the great responsibility we have. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he says several things which will make you think about your actions, uh, even deeply, before even acting them out. So in fourth verse, he says, "The disrespect shown by my attendants has actually been displayed by me, because the doormen are my servitors. I take this to be an offense by myself. Therefore, I seek your forgiveness for the incident that has arisen." So it is very similar, um, to an incident. For example, when I was a small kid and I was in a school, I had an argument, actually a fight with a classmate, and both his parents and my parents were called in. And immediately, my father, when he went into the principal's room, and he said that I apologize on behalf of my child because I was not able to give him proper lessons of correct behavior. He's acting like this, and that impacted me so much that I did not have any arguments or fights after that throughout my life. I tried to avoid all these arguments. The reason being is that however I will represent, I'm representing my family. Similarly, the way as devotees we are presenting ourselves, we are representing Krishna, and if we do something bad, then Krishna is sorry for that. And ask yourself, do you want Krishna to be sorry for your actions? Second, so His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, in the purport um, of fifth verse, he says, a devotee should be blameless because any offense by a devotee is a scar on Supreme Personality of Godhead. The devotee's duty is to be always conscious in his dealings with others, especially with another devotee of the Lord. I think this is beyond my adhikar to speak on this, because the scar on Supreme Personality of Godhead, that's something beyond imagination. And then the sixth verse, he says that now that you have realized me without doubt, therefore I will not hesitate to lop off my own arm if its conduct is found hostile to you. And this specific verse number 6, has two meanings. So Jay and Vijay are so dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or let's say not just Jay and Vijay, but all the devotees, they are so dear to Supreme Personality of Godhead that even a second's uh, distance from his dear devotees is like the pain of lopping his arm off. So he's saying that because now these devotees have committed offense towards you, then I'm ready to bear the pain of separation from them. And he's comparing that to his arm being chopped off. So so that's something which I got as a theme of this section. And coming back to the question, right? Sorry. So Maharaj said that there are devotees, and different devotees have different level of their devotion, right? So a quick question: whose service does the Lord appreciate more, Srimati Lakshmi Devi or Srimati Tulsi Devi, and why? Any idea? Wild guesses: A or B? Oh, sorry, Jagannath Prabhu, I didn't see the verse. Do you want to speak something about it? 953 you sent. One should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord.
Oh no, this is just the different levels, right? So respect has to be given to everyone
Okay,
based on, yeah.
perfect. Perfect. And Megha Mataji says B, Srimati Tulsi Devi. Would you like to tell us why, Megha Mataji? Why Tulsi Devi's service is more appreciated? It's not very difficult, so you don't have to make it complicated.
I don't know, Prabhu. You said wild guess.
Okay,
I
perfect,
just
perfect. That's
and
what
we
I wanted.
also wear like Tulsi Mala, right? Like
Yes,
yeah, to remind of Krishna. So that's why I thought maybe Tulsi Devi
amazing.
is
Yeah,
preferred.
very good instinct. Yeah, we wear Tulsi Mala and not gold coins.
Yeah, we wear a garland of notes. I mean, not we, as in some people wear garland of notes only during their weddings. So,
Yes, yes. Okay. Anyone, any other wild guesses? Anyone for A? Let's ask like this. Anyone for A? Okay, no one. Then I suppose everyone is for B. So yeah, the correct answer is Srimati Tulsi Devi. And the reason Prabhupada gives is in the purport of 20th verse, right? So throughout the section in the chapter, many times the Lord said that, because of the devotees, because I serve the lotus feet of the devotee, Lakshmi is attracted to me, but I'm not attached to her. He says this, I'm not attached to Srimati Lakshmi Devi at least two times in the entire chapter. And Lakshmi ji is, consort of Narayan. So how can a husband say that I'm not attached to a wife? And I was thinking, okay, what's the secret? So he says, so Prabhupada explains that in Vaikuṇṭha, in Brahma Samhita, it's written that in Vaikuṇṭha there are thousands and thousands of goddess of fortunes who are serving, who are desiring to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we say Lakshmi Devi is not actually the consort, but the group of goddesses of fortune who are there in the Golok. And now coming to the question, whose service does the Lord appreciate more? It's Tulsi Devi. And the reason Prabhupada gave in the purport is that the Tulsi Devi has taken shelter in the on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And she has taken the shelter and she doesn't leave that space even for a second. She's just there always on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, giving him pleasure by sweet fragrance and cooling comfort. But Srimati Lakshmi Devi, she has a duty towards jivas, and there are so many souls who are worshipping Lakshmi Devi to get a boon from her. And due to their worship, Lakshmi Devi, for some time, she has to go away from Lord Narayan to grant them boon and then come back. So even though Lakshmi Devi is residing in the chest area of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Srimati Tulsi Devi is residing on the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srimati Tulsi Devi's service is more appreciated. Why? Because it is um uninterrupted. And there is a verse, ahituki and apratihata. So apratihata is what Tulsi Devi offers Lord, and Lord appreciates that much more. So yeah, so it doesn't matter like how big services or grandiose services you're performing to the Lord, but actually it should be consistent. Consistency will actually give the pleasure to the Lord. Okay, so we talked about the great responsibility, and I think this is the last slide. So, what is the difference between Brahman and Goloka? This is first difference which come to your mind. Okay, I'll take it. So the
One
first
is
difference.
one is Aishwarya Bhav, other is not Aishwarya Bhav. Like,
Nice, Prabhu. Yeah, so the first is the different God realization. One is the Brahman realization, they are in Brahman, and the other is the God realization, the Bhagwan realization. That's the difference. The other difference which is there is that one who goes to the spiritual world doesn't come back, you know. And Prabhupada, in many places, he's written in his purports that the jivas who are there in Brahman, they also have um, a chance of coming back to this material world. And in Bhagavad Gita, there are three verses which where Krishna says that once a devotee goes to his dham, he doesn't come back. So first is 821. Yam prapaya na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. 15:6. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhama paramam mama. And then 8:16. Mam upetya tu kanteya punarjanma na vidyate. So all these three verses essentially are saying that once you go to the spiritual world, there is no chance of coming back. So now the question is, if what was stated in Bhagavad Gita is true, then is Jaya Vijay fall truly a fall? They were in the spiritual world, they were in the Chaturbhuj form, like Lord Vishnu, and they were serving him, they were having a relationship with him, and yet they come back. Sorry, not come back, yet they come down to the material world. Is this a fall down? How to reconcile both? Okay, so for because there is lack of time, I'll just speak the answer. So Prabhupada says that this is an enactment by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead wants to experience the Viryaras, he wants to have a fight. Um, and he wants in Vaikuṇṭha Lok, nobody will dare or have that animosity against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If the Supreme Personality of Godhead asks, let's suppose Jay Vijay in Vaikuṇṭha Lok to punch him, the max they can do is throw a lotus flower at him, and that too not at his not on his upper body, on his lower like below belt, under the belt. So the Lord wanted to experience the Viryaras, for because of which he orchestrated this entire drama. He uh, gave he actually manifested anger in the four Kumaras who are supposed to be in Shantaras. Shantara means peace. How can they be angry? And then um, he created an ignorance in the mind of Jay and Vijay temporarily, so that they stop the four Kumaras and think about dualities, and thus causing four Kumaras cursing Jay and Vijay. But the good thing Prabhupada says is that they do not fall down because they are always in Krishna consciousness. They are thinking about Krishna always, even if out of animosity, out of anger, they are constantly connected with Krishna through their, even though they are in demon family, they are constantly thinking about Krishna on how to defeat him or how to be at harm. So yeah, so therefore, Jay and Vijay temporarily goes down and then they come back up again, which is not a permanent fall down because they were never at loss of they never lost the remembrance of Krishna. Right? And then Jagannath Gopal Prabhu had another explanation which was even better, which he told me yesterday. I'll let Prabhu uh, tell us that.
or the Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that
Yes,
one.
yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so what happens is actually, let me share my screen. This is really interesting. I was very much blown away when I read that. Wait a minute. Wow. Yeah. It's in life of devotion. Yeah. So here, if you see, yeah, here. After the sages left, the Lord spoke to Jaya and Vijay, go to the material world. But seeing them weeping and wailing, the Lord again spoke to them, his heart softened by compassion. Do not fear, may you too have good fortune. Do not go there. Always remain serving me in Vaikuṇṭha. Seeing that they were now happy, he said, though I can nullify the curse of the Brahmanas, I do not desire to destroy my own promise. I have made a rule to accept the inevitability of a Brahmana's curse, just as Garuda sacrificed an expansion of his wing in order to maintain the inevitability of the thunderbolt's power. You should take on the role of demons in one of your expansions and at the same time remain in Vaikuntha. Yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah. So this is that. So the Lord told them to, take on the role of demons in one of your expansions and at the same time remain in Vaikuntha in your Swarupas. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes this passage. This comes in the 8th canto. So the translation is, O king, when the associates of Lord Vishnu saw the soldiers of the demons coming forward in violence, they smiled. So here are the associates of Lord Vishnu. Taking up their weapons, they forbade the demons to continue their attempt. Nanda, Sunanda, Jay, Vijay. So Nanda, Sunanda, Jay, Vijay, Prabala, Bala, Kumuda, Kumudaksha, Vishwaksena, and so on, were all associates of Lord Vishnu. They were as powerful as 10,000 elephants, and now they began killing the soldiers of the demons. So here, Jay and Vijay, they are mentioned as the associates of Lord Vishnu in the 8th canto, in the Vaman Dev Bali Maharaj pastime. So here it says, in the narration of Vaman and Bali, Jay and Vijay are mentioned among the associates of the Lord fighting. But after being born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, they would later be born as Ravana and Kumbhakarna. The explanation of their expansions must be given in order to resolve the contradiction of being simultaneously in the form of demons and associates of the Lord. From Sarartha Darshini commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur.
Jaya. Yeah, so this is a proof that, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, that they never left the Vaikuntha Lok and they never fell down as per the normal terminology. Right. So I believe we are at time. Can we just, yeah, we discussed this. And so, yeah, if anybody is interested to know more about Prabhupada's explanation, so they can see the purport of 26th verse, where Prabhupada talks about why Jai Vijay's fall is not actually a fall down. And we talked about this also. Were Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyakashipa bhakti yogis? So this is very interesting, which I saw in one of the purport, where Prabhupada says that they were practicing bhakti yoga in anger. So apart from the five major rasas, the secondary rasas, one of the secondary rasas is anger. So they were practicing bhakti yoga in anger because they were constantly uh, absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna, and therefore at the end they got back with Krishna after their pastime was over in this material world. Right. Yeah, I want to talk more about this bhakti yoga, but it's okay. We are at time, and thank you, devotees, for patiently listening. I hope this was an addition. This was at least some addition to your large knowledge set about bhakti. Yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Sorry, somebody was speaking. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much. You really studied so much and so beautifully you took out themes and presented with so much feeling and so many, heartfelt qualities of the Lord that you mentioned. Yeah, Thank you very much, Prabhu. And although you were so busy with so many things, you still took out time. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
It was your motivation, Prabhu, because till yesterday I was not prepared at all. But then you gave me confidence that you make slides in a couple of hours, so I just took a couple of hours to make the slides.
Nothing like, yeah, I mean, you had everything in your mind, so yeah, all good.
Thank you, Prabhu. And thank you, Lekha Mataji, for your message. And thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Is VGD Vamsidhar Gopal Prabhu?
Yes. And who
Okay.
is MNN?
I think Manan Prabhu, I suppose.
No, Manan Prabhu joined as Manan.
Okay.
He's there as Manan, but there was somebody called
Hello.
MNN.
I think
Yes,
I
Prabhu.
earlier joined from my phone using that alias.
Acha, acha. Got it. Okay, so
Okay.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. That was a wonderful class, very thoughtful and very inspiring. I really like your selection of all the quotes and references. It was really good. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। शिल प्रभुपाद की
Jai. Grace Sankirtan Acharya Prabhu ki Jai.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Right.